Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the match preview. Everton versus Fulham in the quarter-final of the Carabao Cup at Goodison Park, Tuesday night. This one's like sort of just like snuck up on us.
But hasn't
we
it?
all knew it was there, but we were all just like keeping an eye on all the other games. And now it's here. It's like this is actually quite a big game. And we could get into a semi-final, and we're actually playing well, and we're in form, and it's a one-off game at Goodison Park. Jack?
Yeah, well, one of our better cup runs in the last few years, you know, home tie against the side that I think we believe we can beat. I think if there hadn't been a certain points deduction, there would have been a lot more focus on this within the fan base. And yeah, you know, if we do get through, there's the potential to draw a lower league side in the semi-final as well. It's potentially massive, this, and it has gone under the radar, but all focus is on it now, and what an opportunity for the team against the team they have lost to earlier in the season, but there was bad luck there. The team's improved since as well. It's a real opportunity for them.
No, it is. It's a big game against the team that, to be fair, have been in decent form of late, scoring a lot of goals. I know they're coming off the back of the 3-0 defeat at Newcastle, but obviously they were down to 10 men for 70 minutes really of that game, and obviously Jimenez is going to miss the game against Everton, which is good. But no, they've been scoring goals, and obviously something in them has clicked in the last few weeks as well. You know, they went to Anfield recently and, you know, scored 3, but obviously were beaten 4-3. Been putting the ball in the back of the net, as I said, 2 5-0 wins before the game on Saturday, but obviously they were both home games as well, so it'll be interesting to see how that translates to this game, and how the mindset, I suppose, a one-off game away from home against the team that I found form, but I find a little bit of form at home as well. Expectations obviously for us will be sky high. A lot of fans will be, I don't think anyone's thinking, oh, this is a walk in the park. It's not like the last round when we played Burnley, where a lot of people felt like that. I think we were comfortably going to beat them because not only were we better than them, but they were going to rest players. I think even though it is a busy period, I imagine Fulham will be looking at this thinking, well, it gets us into a semi-final, 2-legged semi-final. We've got to go for everything. You know, is that the way you feel about this game? Like, you've got to put everything into it because it is a quarter-final of the Cup?
Yeah, well, we don't often get to these stages, or haven't for a few years, have we? I think the last quarter-final was Man United under Ancelotti in the lockdown season. So we've got to take this chance, haven't we? It's going to be difficult, and Fulham, as we know, have been in good goal-scoring form, and it's going to be interesting to see how this Everton side responds if they do go a goal behind. I don't want to say Everton haven't faced adversity in recent weeks, because they very clearly have, but not much of it has actually been on the pitch. We haven't had to respond to going a goal down, and Fulham, yes, they're missing attacking options, but they do have the potential to get that early goal. And are we going to bounce back against that? I have faith in them. Just because the character that's being shown by this Everton team in the last few weeks has been great. So I have faith in them to respond positively if they are faced with adversity. But it is a challenge we haven't had to face in a while, and we do need to have that in mind, that we might have to come up against that.
I think expectation is a challenge as well. I think expectation from your own fan base is a really interesting challenge to take on, because I think obviously in the last few weeks, certainly with the 10-point deduction, we all know we're together in this and we're fighting something else. But I think when these moments do arise and you've got an opportunity to take one and push forward, and give fans, long-suffering fans, something they haven't had an opportunity to get to for a while, whether it just be a semi-final. If you want to get to the final, you want to win something, obviously you've got to go through a semi-final. It's not just a case of, we want to get to a semi-final. Don't like this thing of, I want to have a good cup run. No, I want to win the cup. If good cup run will just bring heartache if you don't get the final thing. But that places expectation, and I wonder how much expectation that places on the manager in terms of the lineup. Let's just look at the team, obviously, that beat Burnley on Saturday. And obviously there was changes going into this game. Patterson came in, Toffee came in, Keane came in, Dwight McNeil going to left wing back. Obviously, Onana starting a game for the first time in a while. Decore went off injured in this game, so we've got no idea at the moment as we record this, because Everton don't do press conferences for the games. So we don't know where he is exactly right now. We don't know where Mykolenko is right now either, because obviously that was a late call with him as well, certainly Friday. So we don't know where they are. We don't know where Ashley Young is. We don't know where Seamus Coleman is. We know Garner will be back. We know Branthwaite will be back for this game. I mean, obviously, if we've got no Mykolenko and we've got no Ashley Young, does that mean that we continue with three at the back and Dwight McNeil plays left wing back? Does that mean Patterson keeps his place ahead of Seamus Coleman, or does Seamus Coleman come back in? And who then goes in for Decore? We saw when Decore moved a little bit deeper against Newcastle that Jack Harrison moved more centrally, but we had Ashley Young on the right wing, so we can make changes, but the changes aren't available either. So does he risk it? If Decore is, let's not say 50-50, but say he's 70-30, do you risk him? It's a hamstring injury. Can you risk a hamstring injury knowing that? The manager said on Saturday night, he said, we don't know whether we got him off in time, as in, he said he was just feeling it. A little bit like Don was feeling, that he was feeling that, and he ended up missing the Forest game. Does he have to have that one game out with it coming in so quick to make sure that not only he's available for Tottenham, but he's available for City and he's available for Wolves? Because if you aggravate it, it could be 3 or 4 games, and 3 or 4 games at this time of year, a week or so, or 10 days being out is 4 games at this stage of the season. So, what do you think he should do with that pressure being there of it being a quarter final?
I wouldn't risk him personally, just looking at the season ahead as well. I know it's a massive game, and maybe I'm contradicting myself talking up the game and then saying, don't risk your top scorer. Yeah. But just with it being so close to the Burnley game where he did go off, and it's a muscle injury as well, that I just wouldn't risk him personally, because he's so crucial to this side with the goals that he brings. And I do think there's enough in the team to get by for one game missing him. It's when, if he does play and he does aggravate it, and then without him for 3 games, that's when I worry about what we've got in the team. But it is interesting to think how we'll shape up, especially if Mykolenko's not going to play. I think if we are expecting that we might have to have a bit more of the ball, maybe it's, okay, go forward at the back and put the extra man in midfield, and Godfrey goes left back, and unfortunately it's probably Michael Keane that drops out. But it is interesting, is Sean Dyche the type of manager who'll change a winning system when he doesn't have to? Changing to 5 at the back was brought on by injuries. Is he going to deviate back from it? Now he doesn't necessarily have to, and it's worked. I don't know.
Yeah, it's there's so much up in the air, and because, as I said, we haven't had any updates, so we don't know where people are. The manager doesn't really give too much away. He's not really said how far. I mean, he does tell you when players are not playing typically, or he certainly has started to do that of late. When a player's not available, he'll just say it's, I know last year he was a little bit more candid when it was Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but I think this year he started being a little bit more honest with the fan base and saying they're not going to make it, he's not going to make it. He ruled out Seamus, and he ruled out Ashley Young. I think it was too early to rule out Mykolenko when they had the press conference. So we'll have to wait and see to see where we are. But I think one affects the other, isn't it? If Ashley Young, if there's no Mykolenko, you might want him back at left back, but so then you can't play him at right midfield. So then maybe you can't play Jack Harrison inside. I don't know. That he obviously played Danjuma in that role against Burnley in the last round, and it didn't really work. Danjuma hadn't played enough football at that point, and certainly hasn't played that much since. Barely any since. So it's hard to predict what we're going to do, but at least I suppose what Saturday's shown us, we do have this formation up our sleeve. We can change things around, and maybe this system of playing 3 at the back would suit us if we don't have Decore, because then we can bring then we've got Onana, he can play alongside Adissa Garner-Gay. Then you can have Harrison and Garner high up in front of those two, with McNeil as a left wing back, and you can pick Michael Keane, you can pick Ben Godfrey to go in there with Branthwaite, and you've got Nathan Patterson who can play right wing back, and that's probably what is best position at the moment. So it wouldn't surprise me if he has to make those calls, if he sticks with a 3, the back.
No, but at least what the Burnley game has shown is that this manager can make things work even when he doesn't have his preferred first 11.
Yeah.
I think they've created an atmosphere in the club around the training ground where players can just come in and just maintain and just come in and do your job, because if you work hard, that's half the job. So, yeah, we're not going to have some key players and then the changes that we have to make because of that is going to further scupper the team set up. But it's just about everyone coming in and just working as hard as they can to do that job. And a lot of that is the midfielders, because you've got players like James Garner who aren't being played completely in their preferred position. They're having to do the dirty work and that. But like I say, we've got an atmosphere where players are more than willing to do that because it's all about the team.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be an interesting one. As I said, we have got that up our sleeve, and we have played it already this season in the Carabao Cup as well, against Villa as well. So it's not alien to them to play that system. It's just and the 2 players who come back will help that, and obviously the manager will have a big decision. Let's just have a look at Fulham's side from the defeat at Newcastle. Obviously they're not going to have Jimenez available, who got the sending off. Obviously Alex Iwobi, former Everton player, has been in great form of late, and they obviously like playing, the 4-2-3-1. Not sure who'll play up front for them, but they have Iwobi on one side and they have Harry Wilson on the other side, who is finding his feet in the Premier League. Just have a look at his numbers. 17 games, 2 goals, XG of 1.59, 3 assists, and an XA of 1.58. There you go, and you can see obviously dominating that right hand side where the heat map there. I'd have gone for a Iwobi there for the stats, but Ned does that job. But Harry Wilson's grown, but I don't really want to talk about him. I want to talk about Alex Iwobi. He has seemed to have found his little niche or his happy place at Fulham. He's scored a few goals, he's got a few assists, and he will be a threat, I think, because coming back to Everton, he'll as much as I think he'll know that it didn't work at Everton quite. It improved, but it didn't really quite work.
There's always still a little bit of need.
Yeah, and let's be honest, right? He didn't score goals. He did, his passing, his assists wasn't great, even though some of his passing and how he got us up the pitch and all that kind of thing was good and was probably our best. And I don't think the manager wanted to sell him, but the money for the club obviously was too much to turn down for a player who had 1 year on his contract, who didn't look like he was ever going to sign a new contract. It could turn out to be fantastic business, by the way, selling Alex Iwobi, the way that Jack Harrison and James Garner and Dwight McNeil have become regular providers. So it could turn out to be absolutely fantastic business, but he does seem to have found himself at a club that suits him a little bit more than what Everton did.
Well, he's a player that we've always known. If you get him in his exact role and do everything he wants you to do as a team to facilitate him, he's a good player. Yeah. He is, and yeah, he always could have got more goals and more goal contributions in the Everton team, but he can perform well and have those little moments that just help the team in the attack. It was a good deal for both parties, because you mentioned the contract situation and the money made it beneficial for Everton. But look, I'm sure he'd love to come and give a performance, because, like you say, it didn't really work at Everton. But it's our job to shut him down. It's our job to shut Harry Wilson down. And we don't know about the striker situation with suspensions and injuries, but they're a team who can score goals regardless. So I'm sure whoever it is will be a threat. And it's Everton's job to shut them down, as we've been shutting teams down the last 2 weeks. Yeah, they'll make chances. And listen, it's not all about Jimenez. Jimenez has become a focal point in the last few weeks and started scoring some goals. And that is great. We've seen that with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Centre forward doesn't always score the goals, but they give you the focal point to allow the team to get up the pitch. And they have been creating the chances, so it's not just a case of, well, there's no Jimenez, so that's it. They've been spreading the goals around. And it will be a tough game, and there is a lot of expectation going into the game. And it really, I think it's finally balanced. Obviously, us being at home gives us the edge, but they've beaten us the last couple of times at Goodison as well. For going so long with them never winning a game at Goodison Park, they've won the last 2, so
Yeah, it's a tough one, but it's a quarter final. Everton have got to be relishing it, and the fans have got to be relishing it, and hopefully we can get through. Whoever we get in the semi-final, it doesn't matter, And again, it's just about getting into it and then seeing where you are when it comes around. So, and at the moment, we are good. We're in good form, and we're making things happen. So, there you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments on this one. How optimistic are you, and what do you think the lineup's going to be? Who do you think will be in and who do you think will be out? Let us know in the comments. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already. You want more great videos, join us over on Toffee TV Premier. Link is in the description and the QR code's come on the screen now. See you later.